growth in world population is one of the major factors that deteriorate life on earth, that distorts the shape of human society. That is what the author is saying. And rate with which population is increasing over the years in the last decades, that also the author has pointed out in the earlier video. We discussed this thing. This part begins with a very nice expression. See, fertility falls as income rises. Fertility falls as income rises, fertility falls as incomes rise, education spreads, and health improves. Thus, development is the best contraceptive. But development itself may not be possible if the present increase in numbers continues. Fertility falls. What is this fertility? This is noun. This has come from the adjective fertile. What is this fertile? Fertile means the quality of being productive. The land is fertile. It means this land is very good for production. So if the land is fertile, is an adjective, we can also say that this land has fertility. The author here says fertility falls. Falls means fertility decreases as incomes rise. What is this? Isn't it a bit confusing? Fertility falls as incomes rise. When there is rise in income, when there is growth in income, fertility falls down. And fertility also falls down when education spreads. When people become educated, fertility falls down. It falls down. And when health also improves, fertility falls down. The interesting thing is that by this fertility, the author does not mean fertility of land. Although we usually use the word for land only, here fertility refers to the woman's fertility, the woman's capacity to give birth to more children. It is not about land's productivity, it is about woman's productivity. The woman giving birth to more children, that is fertility here. The author says this fertility will fall down when incomes will rise. We find this practically when there are people are earning more income, having more income, they are educated, health condition improves, size of family becomes small. You'll find families having large number of people, and not in all, in most of them, their health care is not up to the mark, and most of them become of poor health, and for the parents it becomes difficult to maintain all the standard of living for all of them. So people, when they become educated, they know how to take care of health, and when they have more income, they become more conscious, and then fertility of the woman falls. It means automatically you find that the size of the family decreases, and that is one way to combat this uncertainty of life on earth, this dangerous situation that we are facing because of the overpopulation. Then the author says another nice sentence, that thus development is the best contraceptive. Contraceptive means the way to stop the continuation of birth. Contraceptive measures are taken for stopping birth. It's the birth control measure. The author says this here is again contraceptive. The author said contraceptive means no need to go for other contraceptive measures, just go for development. If you go for development, health increases, money earning increases, education spreads, then you will find these things are the best contraceptives. Development, if development is there, that is the best contraceptive. People will become more conscious about the need for having small families, but the author said, but development itself cannot be possible if the present increase in numbers continues. So first you have to bring an end, you have to control, you have to monitor the increase in the number of population, you have to go for education, you have to be conscious about what is happening around, you have to take care of your health, and then as these things one after another will happen, then you will be conscious more to have control in the size of the family. If the present increase in the number of population is not checked, then what will happen is that the rich will get richer. The rich get richer, and the poor, what will happen to poor? Poor beget children, which condemns them to remain poor. Poor people, they will give birth to children after children, and then they will find it difficult to give them good education, to provide them the facilities they need, and this will make them poor again. More children does not mean more workers, merely more people without work. Yes, more people does not mean that you have, earlier there was a time people thought that yes, I have 10 boys, 10 sticks will be taken out when there is a fight with the neighbor. I have more boys, more children, more strength we have. But now the concept is that more children does not mean more work. More children means more population without work. There will be unemployment everywhere. It is not suggested that human beings are treated like cattle and compulsorily sterilized. We are human beings. We should not be treated as other animals like cattle, like cow and dogs. For cow and dog, you may compel it because human beings may have control over it, and you can forcefully sterilize him. Sterilize means to make him unfit for giving birth. But human beings have their self-respect. They should come out of their own choice. They should not be compelled. There should not be any kind of compulsion, because we are human beings. We are not like other animals. So this should come out of our own choice. It is not suggested that human beings are treated like cattle and compulsorily sterilized, but there is no alternative to voluntary family planning without introducing an element of coercion. If you go for voluntary family planning, then what will happen is that there will be some kind of coercion. Coercion. Coercion means doing something forcefully. So if family planning is made compulsory, then there will be cases where somebody is not willing and there is a kind of force on him. And as human beings, this kind of force should not be applied. So by this the author means that we have to be conscious enough that we do things of our own choice. There should not be any compulsion. And the choice is really between control of population and perpetuation of poverty. Perpetuation means continuation. Perpetuate is the verb. So perpetuation means continuation. This means that the choice is up to us. We have two choices. One choice is whether we want to control population or not, and the other is whether we want to continue remaining poor. If you want to continue remaining poor, then increase population, no problem. If you want to control population, then you have to that will lead to your more healthy and better life. Choice is up to oneself. The population of India is estimated to be 920 million today. That was in 1994. From this 920 million, it has become now 1380 million today in 2000. And then the author said that population 920 million in 1994, that was more than the entire populations of Africa and South America put together. No one familiar with the conditions in India would doubt that the hope of the people would die in their hungry hutments. Hutments means small huts, unless population control is given topmost priority. If population control is not given topmost priority, then the dreams to become happy, to live a healthy life, all these dreams will die. All the hopes and aspirations of the people will die in their poor huts, in their poor houses. Those dreams will never be fulfilled. They will never be materialized unless population control is given topmost priority. For the first time in human history, we see a transcending concern. Transcending concern. These are the terms that we got earlier at the beginning of the lesson, and they are in bold letters. Transcending concern. Concern means, when you are concerned, it means that you have this kind of worry, you are worried. And this transcending concern means growing concern. We are more and more worried about what is it. For the first time in human history, we are more and more concerned, more and more worried about what? The survival not just of the people but of the planet. Yes, human beings earlier were having this notion that this earth is for us only and we have to utilize all its resources. But for the first time in human history, we are now concerned, that is called a transcending concern, a lofty concern. It is a concern of a higher quality. It is not that selfish concern. It is a concern where every other living organisms are taken into concern. They are also respected. So what is this transcending concern? It is that our concern, our worry is the survival not just of the people. We are concerned about not only the human survival, we are concerned about the survival of this earth also. Because it is the earth which is our home, it is the earth where we live, it is the earth that has given us shelter, it is the earth which belongs to all the innumerable living organisms. So the health of the earth is also given priority nowadays. It is also given respect and honor and importance. We have begun to take a holistic view of the very basis of our existence. Holistic view, we discussed earlier. Holistic means all pervading. All pervading. It means taking everything as a whole. Not just human beings, that our life, no. The well-being of all the innumerable living organisms with which we share this earth, that this earth belongs to all of us, the resources belong to all of us, all the living organisms have their right to exist peacefully, to live peacefully on this earth. That is called a holistic view. We have begun to take a holistic view of the very basis of our existence. What is the basis of our existence? It is not that just we live, human beings live, and human beings are concerned about their future, about their children, about their resources, about their money. No. It is a holistic view. It is that for our existence, all other living organisms should be allowed to live along with us. That is a holistic view. The environment problem does not necessarily signal our demise. If environment is in difficulty, environment is facing problems, this does not give a signal, it does not warn us about our demise only. Demise means death. That if environment is ill, if environment is degraded, that this will lead to our death, this will lead to our extinction, this will lead to our pain and difficulty. No. It is passport for the future, that if environment is taken care of, if it is made healthy, then our future generation will live peacefully. It is a concern about our future generation also. It is not about just our own generation, just let us live. No. We have become more concerned about other organisms, we have become more concerned about our future generation. The emerging new world vision has ushered in the era of responsibility. Usher in mark the start of something. Usher. Mark the start of. It means, what is this thing that ushers, that mark the start of? The emerging means something that has started coming. The emerging, it means the beginning. New world vision, new way of thinking is that there is an era of responsibility. The present era, after human beings realized the need for living in peace, living in peaceful coexistence with other innumerable organisms, then now this present era is called era of responsibility, age of responsibility. Era means age, time. What is this? It is a holistic view, an ecological view, seeing the world as an integrated whole rather than a dissociated collection of parts. We have started thinking the world as an integrated whole. It is all the organisms living in this earth, small and big. They are all essential parts of our life. They are all essential for our peaceful coexistence. They are all integral. They all make the earth an integral whole. And all these, they are not dissociated parts. They are not some parts which you can throw away, which you can ignore. No. Everything on this earth, they are integral. Nothing is to be dissociated. That is the new concept of the era of responsibility. Industry has a most crucial role to play in the new era of responsibility. This is a very important point, because when there is industry, then there is some kind of harm done to environment. If you want to start an industry somewhere, you need a huge area of land, you need to cut trees, you need to construct buildings, and then other living organisms will lose their shelter. So industry causes problem for other living organisms. It causes difficulty for environment, but we do need industry. That is also a fact. So industrial industry has a very crucial role to play here. There should be a kind of understanding, there should be a kind of balance between growth of industry and continuation of environment. What a transformation would be affected if more businessmen shared the view of the chairman of DuPont, Mr. Edgar S. Woolard, who 5 years ago declared himself to be the company's chief environmental officer. Companies have officers at the top. He is designated as Chief Executive Officer, CEO, we all know. Any company has its chief officer designated as CEO, Chief Executive Officer. But see this man, Mr. Edgar S. Woolard, he is the CEO of a company, DuPont. And he calls himself CEO, and this CEO in his view does not stand for Chief Executive Officer. He said he is the Chief Environmental Officer. By this he means to say that I am the chairman of an industry, and industries often lead to destruction of environment. It causes harm to environment. But so far as I am concerned, so far as my industry is concerned, I am always responsible for the promotion and for the healthy growth of environment also. So my designation is Chief Environmental Officer. It means that I am having an industry, I am promoting it, at the same time I am very much concerned about the well-being of environment also. So this shows his attitude, his love, his concern for environment. And our author says, Nani Palkhivala says that if this kind of attitude is shared by other businessmen, if other businessmen come up with this kind of attitude and this kind of mindset, then what kind of transformation would be there, what kind of change in the whole world would be there. The author is wondering about that. Again, Mr. Edgar S. Woolard continued, he said, our continued existence as a leading manufacturer, we are a leading manufacturer, our continued existence as a leading manufacturer requires that we excel in an environmental performance. We should excel not only in the production of industrial goods, no. We should, our existence, our continued existence, our concern, our motto is that we should exceed in environmental performance, not only in industrial performance, not only our more and more products should be there, more and more sales should be there, more and more earning of money should be there. No. Our concern is that environment should perform well, environment should remain healthy, environment should be taken care of. This is also our major concern. This is how an industrialist is thinking. And Nani Palkhivala said, if more industrialists think in this way, the whole picture of the art will be different. And this industrialist is keeping a balance between his industrial performance and his responsibility for environmental performance as well. We have come to the last paragraph. It's a small paragraph, but this is very nice. Of all the statements made by Margaret Thatcher during the years of her prime ministership, Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister of England, the author is saying, of all the statements made by Margaret Thatcher during the years of her prime ministership, none has passed so decisively. Decisively means producing a definite result. It has become so fruitful, it has become so well taken, so well embraced into the current coin of English usage as her felicitous words. Felicitous means well chosen. Felicitous. Felicitous. Well chosen. Margaret Thatcher during her prime ministership has spoken many important things, but the author said that one statement made by her has become very, very well embraced across the world. It has left a deep impression on the mind of people in different parts of the world. That comes next. What is it? She very nicely said, she has chosen her words in a very nice way, very well chosen words she used when she talked about environment and the liability, the responsibility human beings have for its promotion, for its growth, for its health. What is it? She said, no generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease. Here she compares we human beings as if we are the tenants. For example, you are a tenant, it means you are living on someone else's home. In return for some money you pay to him. Someone has a building, he has given some rooms on rent. you stay there, and on a monthly basis you pay him rent. So you are the tenant. And Margaret Thatcher said that we all have life tenancy on the earth. We are living as a tenant. If you live as a tenant, the home, the building belongs to someone else. You pay money and that's why you live. You also have some responsibility as long as you live there. Margaret Thatcher said that we live on this earth as tenants. No generation has a freehold. Freehold means extreme freedom on this earth. If a plot of land belongs to you, you can start a building, you can do anything, you can dig it and make a fishery, you can do anything. But Margaret Thatcher said no. Human beings do not have this kind of freehold, this kind of absolute freedom on the earth that whatever they want they do it. No. What we have is a life tenancy. We are living as a tenant on the earth. The earth belongs to, not to us, it belongs to the whole human population who are supposed to come after us. So it belongs to all of them. We are just living as tenants. And what kind of tenant are we? With a full repairing lease. There is a condition between a tenant and the landlord of the house. What is the condition? That if anything is damaged, then who is to take care of it? The tenant has to repair it. That kind of lease we have. That we are living in a tenant's house. We are living as tenants. Whatever damage is done to the earth, it is we people who, since we are living, we are utilizing earth. The earth has given us shelter. As long as we live on this earth, as long as we occupy the earth, we have to make all repairs of the earth. We have to make all kind of repairing for any kind of damage that is there. This kind of attitude we all should have. This is what Margaret Thatcher said. The last line is really very, very important, very nice. Lester Brown, we earlier got Lester Brown's name came earlier. Now again we have got his name. In the words of Mr. Lester Brown, we have not inherited this art from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. That is, the ending is very nice. This implies the kind of responsibility we should have. We have not inherited this art from our forefathers. Inherit means to get something from your forefathers as a property. For example, your father had property. When he died, you become the owner of the property. That is not what we are, so far as the art is concerned, according to Lester Brown. In his view, we have not got the art from our forefathers. If we inherit it, we will claim, yeah, it is our art. It is my father's property. I have got the land from him. It is my property. No, that is what we are not. Lester Brown said, we have not inherited the art from our forefathers. Rather, we have borrowed it from our children. If you borrow something from someone, then that is a responsibility, because you have to give it back. You have to return it to him safe and nice. The way you got it, there should not be any damage to it. You have borrowed, for example, a camera from somebody. At the time of returning it, there should not be any kind of damage to it. If any damage is there, it is your responsibility. You have to make it good. So we have got this art from our next generation, from our children, from our offspring. The art actually belongs to them only. So we have to leave the art a healthy art for them. It is our responsibility because it belongs to them. We are using it at present. Any kind of harm, if it is done during our life, during our tenure, during our tenancy, then we have to repair it. We have to make it good again, so that our future generation gets it in a very well healthy, in a very good health condition. That is what our responsibility is. So Lester Brown's last sentence is very nice, and it is really something that will evoke some kind of new thought in our mind about our responsibility. And all through this lesson we have got that the art is suffering, it has become ill, and when we fall ill we go to doctors, and doctors and nurses take care of us. The same is the case. The art is suffering, scientists are the doctors, and we all human beings living on the earth are the nurses. We have to take care of it. And since 1972, the emergence of this environment, the Green Party in New Zealand, since then we have got new concepts like sustainable development and era of responsibility, and we have now started realizing that the art is a combination, it is a collection of essential parts. All living organisms are essential to this art, and it is not some distorted parts, and that we should live with an idea of partnership, not with the idea of domination. and we have to respect other existence of other organisms. The life of other organisms should be respected, and we all have a role to play for the preservation of life on Earth, for the promotion of environment. And it is not a single man's job; it is everyone's job. If we realize this thing and we do accordingly, it is a must for all of us, because it is about our own life, it is about the life of our future generation. And if these things we are able to realize, and if we act accordingly, all the efforts made by the author in writing this essay will be fruitful, and it will be the best thing on our part also, because there is no substitute, there is no choice. This is the only choice left with us, to take care of the earth and to make it a better place for us and the generation that is to come. Thank you very much for being with me.